Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akul Mac Technologies and welcome to this edition of our tip section. And I would like to draw your attention to major news which arose this morning, the whole of England, and because we are all connected with social media, so the entire world has seen it. But before we start discussion on this news item, let me invite my friend from London, Mr. Naval Gun.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. And yeah, it's international news. It was a highlight on BBC Breakfast News, and I'm sure it'll be on the World Service later on today. And what is it? I sent you the link. What is it? What is the news, do you think?
Well, I don't want to spill the beans, but since you asked me this question, I can tell you that there is a photograph of a person standing in a busy area, sort of a railway station or a bus station, and he's got something written on a placard which is hanging from his neck. So, but I leave it to you to explain it.
Well, it's really simple. What we hear today is there are no jobs. And even if there are jobs, what's the point of applying? Because there are so many people applying for jobs. And I go online and I put my CV through and I'd never get a response. When they do a recruitment fair, I turn up and I never get a response. We hear this all the time, and everyone says, oh, it's COVID, why bother? The point is, if you want a job, you need to go and get a job. It will not come and land in your lap. You need to network with people. You need to do something that other people perhaps aren't doing. So the common thing that people do today is they go online and they're trawling through all of the job sites and they're just applying, adding their CV that they've spent perhaps a couple of hours working on, and they just send it. Is there any reason? Is there any wonder why you're not getting a response? Because you're just a Me Too. You and I talk about Me Too businesses all the time. You need to be different. You need to be doing something different to get someone to think, actually, this is a person I want to interview. Not give a job to, this is a person I want to interview. And this person you mentioned that's got this placard, he was dressed up in his normal livery that he wears. He was on a cruise ship for many years, very senior position. And because of COVID, all cruise ships have literally, the cruise ship arena has condensed somewhat, contracted, perhaps even non-existent. His job was no longer available. Very senior guy, 63 years old, okay? Not 36, 63 years old. So he dressed himself up in his suit and tie, and he stood on Leeds City Station with a placard. Doesn't matter what it said on the placard, because he was handing out his CV. He was doing they call this a stunt. Why is it a stunt? Because not many people are doing it. But he wanted a job. He wanted someone to take notice. And the really good news is, not only did he land a job, not only did he get onto the local newspaper, because it's a stunt, it's something different, but he landed a dream job. He's now head of training for a chain of restaurants. So he's imparting his 63 years of knowledge, a lot of it gained in the cruise ship arena, so he knows about customer service, and he's working in a chain of restaurants. Well, what better? And this person hasn't got a plum in his mouth. He doesn't speak the Queen's English, if you like, and jolly good. He was a royal butler. That's his history. So he was really properly trained. Now he's imparting that to a whole new arena of not just the restaurant chain, but young and old people. This is how we do it. Copy me. Copy me, you'll get it right. Well, it's a fantastic story, okay? But it all started with someone doing something different. And how many times do you and I talk about do something different?
Well, the inspiration that I'm getting from this story, Naval, is that you have to shorten the curve. When you're trying for a job, you are, as you said, Me Too, and you are lost in the ocean of thousands of applications. Many years back when we used to advertise, like 20 years back, and there used to be fax machines, and we say that, hey, we need this kind of person to be employed with our company. The fax machine used to fail, after 50,000 CVs. And there is a human limit to how many CVs you can see, because the fax keeps coming and get piling up in a trash box. So you pick up the first maybe 200 CVs, and rest 48,200 will go to trash. So that was a thumb rule. So only the first 100 or 500 CVs will be reviewed by the company, and rest of them will go in the trash box. So I think that is a thumb rule. You are actually doing it faster, better. So this person who's a well-trained, well-traveled, uh, Victorian English speaking, from nice pedigree, he's 63 years old, and he has shortened the curve. He has taken his message directly to the HR director of the company who has hired him.
Absolutely, he's shortened the curve. And the thing is, right, there is this phrase, right, the early bird catches the worm. I'm not quite sure whether it translates in India, but in other words, if you get up early and you do things early, then the worms are there. Your food is available. Breakfast is there. Go and get it. And the point is, go and get it. So the advice we can give to people today, okay, your fax machine, the first 500, and that's it, blocked off. So the early bird caught the worm. The one that literally took action early may not have been the best candidate, but it was the one with the right attitude. And I bet the first 10 you looked at more closely than the 490 that followed, because they were the first. That's the type of person you want to employ. And hopefully they've got the right technical ability that you can mold to be that great employee. So what advice can we give to people today? So based upon that inspirational story, what would you say, CK, to someone else that's looking for a job today?
Well, I think you need to differentiate yourself from the rest, and there are different techniques of differentiating. Maybe you should present yourself. Maybe you should go uh, meet the person face to face. Maybe you should write a letter. There are many things. There are various ways of thinking out of the box and shortening the curve.
Yeah, there are various ways. And I think what we need to do is give people one way that we know works, one way that I know works. And it's a way that I suggested for over 15 years since speaking in universities and schools and in the education system around the world. Get your CV. Put a covering letter to it. Don't type the covering letter. Handwrite it. Make it very personal. Find out the person in the organisation that you need to be sending that letter to. Don't apply online. Frankly, everyone's applying online. Keep doing it, because you never know. If you're not in it, you won't win it. But do something different. Send a personal letter to the head of HR, the head of the department, someone who's influential in the organisation. Tell them why you've seen the advert, or you haven't even seen the advert. This guy did not see an advert. There was no advert. He was the advert. He prompted a conversation. Were they looking for a head of recruitment or a head of marketing or a head of training? I don't know. I can't answer that question. But I know they weren't advertising. So that's the issue. Some jobs never get advertised. Here's an opportunity. Write to the people involved. Be personal. Be unique. Because I guarantee that is the early bird that will catch the worm, because you will spark something in the other person's thought process. They will respond to you because you've taken time out of the ordinary. You haven't applied online. You've taken personal time. You've looked at the organisation. You've told them why you want to join them. You've given them your experience. They will respond to you. And the issue is here, if they don't respond to you, you don't want to work for them, because they don't value people. So there's two wins here. The first win is if they respond to you, result. I can't guarantee you'll get an interview, but I think you're going to have a better chance of getting an interview than anybody else. The second thing is if they don't respond to you, bing, bing, big X. Do not approach that company. Alternatively, it gives you an opportunity to write to the chief exec and say, I wrote this very personal letter. I'm disappointed that this person couldn't even respond to me. And see what the chief exec says. Because they will not like that, I can assure you. If they're a leader, they will not like it. And the other thing is, if you don't get a response from the chief exec, it's not the first cross, it's not the second cross, it's 3 crosses. 3 strikes, you are out. And then you can go publicly, and say, these people don't even respond to personal letters. Why are you buying things from them? The world needs organizations that believe in people and they believe in you as customers. So you're going to be doing a great job for these customers that are out there. So there was a great phrase many years ago that was unfortunately a spitting image character. For those that don't know spitting image, I suggest you look it on YouTube because it's very funny. They take the mickey out of politicians, they make a puppet out of the politicians, and I can assure you it's not a very flattering puppet. It accentuates the negative side in individuals. And there was a person called Norman Tebbit in the UK government, in the cabinet, and he said, get on your bike. In other words, it's your responsibility. Go and do it. Don't just wait for something to land in your lap. It had a different connotation then, but get on your bike. Do what this guy did. Put a placard there. You can't stand in Leeds City Station if you're in India because it's a long flight, but you can do something similar.
Well, in fact, this has given me ideas, our discussion today. And the key here is to create a differentiation for yourself. And if you send your CVs, you will be lost in the thousands and thousands of oceans of CVs, and there's a chance that you may not be able to differentiate. So there is a method of building a presentation, sharing it about you to the person of the company that you want to get hired, or we can help you actually get interviewed with us. And that will be a great differentiation because you will stand out. Send this video to the company where you want to get employed. And that will be a clincher because now you're differentiating yourself.
Well, the interesting thing is we are doing that in a competition, as you well know, in the SOTI Awards. It happens to be Wednesday, I think. Yes. So normally we would have done a SOTI Wednesday, but this is the SOTI Wednesday. It's the Speaker of the Year Awards. And the thing is, here's an opportunity. Get involved. Your video will be in front of thousands of employers around the world. And someone will employ you. Just like this guy stood on Leeds City Centre, right in the middle of the railway station with a placard. We're doing the equivalent for you. We're not making it hugely easy because you've still got to do all the work. But we're giving you a platform where it can go. So rather than stand on platform 9 of Leeds City Railway Station, you can sit on our platform. There's a bit of a plug that we didn't even think that was coming out of today, but it is about uniqueness. It is about you selling yourself. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. But frankly, this person at 63 years old did something different. Why don't you?
Absolutely.
Don't give us excuses.
Absolutely, Naval. I think this is a very good message that, or a tip we are giving to a lot of people in the industry. They have to differentiate themselves. They have to find out the ways of doing it. Thank you very much for giving your time to us today. I think this tip will be very useful for a lot of people.
I hope so. Early bird catches a worm. Don't have an excuse. Get out there and do something.
Thank you so much, Naval. You have a nice day. We will catch up tomorrow.
Yep. See you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.